Welcome to Vital 100 Wellness with Dr. Bob, the podcast designed to take your health to the next level.
This is Dr. Bob Johnson. Today's broadcast is an absolute essential for people who want to not only be healthy, but also prevent illness. The title is your house actually the cause of your chronic illness? Houses are traditionally what we love. We're emotionally attached. We like how everything is set up. We become accustomed to how comfortable it is, and we try to make it appear very nice and very comfortable. But in actuality, your house may be the source of some chronic illnesses, and we're going to go over that and give you some tips, hopefully, to make you be healthier. Because let's face it, we're in our houses probably half of our life. Even if we go out and we go to work and we commute and go for entertainment, we are constantly in our house, sleeping, living, eating, entertaining. And if your house is a source of chronic illness, then indeed, if you're there half of your life or more, it can indeed be a very traumatic thing. And so to be able to identify the sources of illness with your house or your place of residence is absolutely critical. I have a very interesting story to start this out with. When I was growing up, we lived in a house that was, 40 years old, 40, 50 years old. It was a very nice house. We had a lot of things growing up. But I realize now in retrospect is that there was a lot of mold. We had early in our residence there, we had some flooding in the basement. Some other people call it the cellar, depending on where you live. But we had a lot of flooding, and not only from our time there, but from the people before us. And in retrospect, I realized that whenever we went down into the basement to, entertain ourselves or to take advantage or to clean up, what I realized was that there was a huge mold infestation. It was probably in the walls. It was certainly on the floors. And so it was really a challenge. My dad, who lived there past me leaving and going to school and moving out, my dad had asthma for his entire life, and it always got worse after he got it living in the house. And so I realized that in retrospect, the mold was his respiratory challenge that caused his health problems. Now, expanding that, there's been estimates that a third of the U.S. houses have mold infestation. That's the mold spores, it's the mold toxins, it's different types of molds that, in fact, are problematic and are causing problems to people's health, especially respiratory issues, maybe chronic nervous system degeneration, even things like cardiovascular disease, muscular problems. And when I do my assessments of people, probably well over half of them have mold toxicity. That is something that I have to help people resolve, because if it's in their body, it is constantly challenging them. I've even had some people who had very, very bad mold problems. In fact, after I've stopped seeing them, they have indeed passed away. And I know a big part of that is their mold. So that's one of the big problems. If you cannot remediate your house, meaning take out the drywall and take out areas that are full of mold in the bathroom, in the kitchen, wherever, in the cellar, you can, first of all, the solution is remediation. Take out things that are harboring mold. The second thing is that you can get some very, very good filters of the air in the house. And these will remove mold toxins. It has to be high-level filters that can actually remove the mold spores, remove the toxicity caused by mold. So that's important. And if those can't resolve the mold mycotoxin problem, then you may have to move. The areas of the world, like, say, New Orleans, that's constantly being flooded. The houses, yes, they recover from the water damage, but mold is left. And these are places where there's high levels of respiratory issues and other chronic illnesses. I am sure that's due to the mold. So that's one big problem that is of concern and that causes a lot of health challenges. It's now known that the air in houses is 5 times more toxic than the air outside houses. And so it's important to realize that if you're constantly breathing indoor air, especially homes that are very tightly sealed, and that's a big thing to save on energy costs, but it seals in toxic air pollutants in the house. So there's a mix there. And one of my suggestions is to be able to open up the windows and the doors periodically to be able to get the air that's toxic or the air that's congesting you, get it out of the house and get some better air. Now, this varies slightly when you've got a toxic area of the country you're living in, but for the most part, air inside is quite a bit more toxic than air outside. And this is why air filters are very important, even if it's a new house. One of the things that I tell people is that, or I always ask them, is how old is your house? The best situation is a house that's about 4 or 5 years old. They have not had the chance to get mold buildup or toxic air buildup, but also another source of toxins is paints, furniture, especially if they've been sprayed with fire retardants, the carpets, those kind of things. And in fact, carpets generally are not that healthy. And if you're designing a house, better that you have area carpets and hardwood than you have a wall-to-wall carpet. So carpets, paints, those kind of things, outgassing from furniture is a big cause of polluted air inside houses. And so the best window is around 3 years after the outgassing has happened from these toxic sources, and also before you've had a buildup of toxicity from aging and or mold in the house. If you are redesigning or painting areas, make sure that the paints, make sure that the finishes that you use, the furniture that you buy is made with materials that are healthier. Very important with respect to paints, that you're not getting the heavy metals, the chemicals that are outgassing from the paint. So that's a very important point to make if you're doing some remodeling inside your house. Another source of toxins is the use of chemicals for cleaning. Clorox bleach is very toxic. If you go into a room after it's been wiped with Clorox bleach, it's just irritating to the lungs. And so it's very important to realize that the chemicals that are used to clean houses, to disinfect, those kind of things, especially under the sink where you've got all these chemicals that you generally use to clean, are in fact very damaging to your health. And so it's important to realize that when you select cleaning products, when you select products that are to take care of the home, it's very important to look at the ingredients and make sure that you're not getting all the chemicals in these things. Vinegar is a very, very good product to clean surfaces and to clean floors and so forth. But there are many good, healthier sources to clean your house with, and to disinfect and to clean the bathrooms, that kind of thing. So very important to understand that the chemical toxins that are used to clean the house can be very damaging to overall health. One thing to realize is that cleaning people, they're usually women, cleaning people have much higher levels of toxins and chemicals in their body. And in fact, cleaning women who are cleaning 2-3 houses a day have very high rates of breast cancer, because that's where the chemicals that they breathe in are stored. I always recommend that these people, and I talk to a fair number of cleaning people, is that they should take and use very healthy chemicals or healthy products to be able to clean houses, and to be able to wear masks when they're doing this. Not that some of these toxic smells and so forth are healthy, or that some of those chemicals can seep through the masks that they use. So when they're around the chemicals, they should get good filtering masks to prevent the intake of all the chemicals they're using. So we talked about molds. We talked about the chemicals that you're using. One place that is a huge source of chemicals or buildup of toxins that you're breathing directly are the air conditioning, the air filters in the house. They should be cleaned on a regular basis. My guess is probably, if you can't do it every year, every other year should be cleaned. If your vents are not cleaned for 10 years, 15 years, you're constantly breathing that dust you're constantly breathing the chemicals that are in there. So make sure that you're on a regular cleaning schedule for the ducts that you're breathing their air, and especially air conditioning ducts. So very, very important to get those cleaned up, and so you're not breathing the air that's going through those, especially conditioned air during the summer. Realize that you've got to decide in the house, are you in dry places where you need humidifiers? I know that in my bedroom, I need humidifiers to get so it doesn't dehydrate me. But are you in a place that's humid and you need a dehumidifier? Because dehumidifiers are going to keep mold from developing, going to be able to help you have more conditioned and better and healthier air. So very important to make sure that your air is humid. If it's dry area like the desert areas of Arizona, New Mexico, or do you need some place that's very humid, a dehumidifier to clean out the air. The filters are very important. So I recommend you have filters and you rotate them throughout the house, or you have one for upstairs, downstairs, and maybe your cellar. Those are very important. Another source of potential unhealthy things is your bedroom. The bedroom, which unfortunately, or the way things are designed, has bathrooms around it that need to be kept clean, because there's where you're doing a lot of cleaning. Showers need to be cleaned because there's a high potential to have mold in the showers. Also, in bedrooms, it's very important to be able to change around your mattresses, because you're sleeping on them and you want to change your mattress covers, and you want to change your sheets and pillowcases at least once a week. But the mattress covers, you might want to do that yearly, because not only is your sweat going into them, but also all the toxins, the dust mites and so forth are in there, and you're breathing them on a regular basis. When your body needs to recover, like 7-8 hours sleep at night, and you're breathing mold or dust mites, or you're breathing chemicals, then that's very important. One side note on that is when you do washes of your sheets, your pillowcases, the mattress covers and so forth, make sure that the detergents that you use are not full of chemicals. Remember, you're lying on them for 7-8 hours a day, and if you're breathing them in, that's going to cause some health problems. One little side note is that dry cleaners, many of them that are not biologic, they use chemicals to clean the clothes, and then they cover them with that plastic which seals in the chemicals into your clothes. So what I recommend is to, if you do not use a biologic healthy clothes cleaners, there are more and more happening or located where in major centers. I use one myself. Is that as soon as you go to the dry cleaners, and if they are not biologic, take off the plastic covering and to have it air outside if you can, before you actually store it in your closet. So these are all sources of chemicals, whether it's your carpet, whether it's your bed, whether it's the cleaning fluids or the bathroom that you use. Very important to keep in mind that the house is very commonly a source of your chronic health problems, whether it be respiratory, whether it be neurologic problems, whether it be just speeded up aging, whether it be cardiovascular issues, because our air that we breathe in is transported, or it crosses the lung barriers into the blood cells, and the blood cells carry those potential toxins to the rest of our body. So you want to make sure that your residence is not a source of toxicity, and it is with so many people that it causes chronic health issues. As I've stated before, it's the respiratory issues, the immune system compromises, it's the cardiovascular, it's the neurologic, the brain. These are all systems that are affected profoundly by what's in our home, whether mold or chemicals or dust mites or what's in your ducts. So very important, and I strongly recommend, whether you realize that you have chronic exposure or not, to get air filters, good solid air filters that you clean regularly, and that you are able to keep the entire house clean, whether you live there on a regular basis or not. It's need to be kept clean. One final issue is people who are hoarders and have all kinds of books and stuff that they save, and that you're not circulating or getting the air cleaned out. Books, old newspapers, these are things that are very, that are full of mold, that are full of toxins. I remember helping somebody a couple years ago clean out his storage place, and all the mold that was in there. I could only be in there for a short amount of time, cleaning out, getting rid of things. So it's important to understand that you need to clean out things, and to just keep saving things is not what you need to do. One other thing that the home really does need, and that you need to check it periodically, whether you're newly buying a home, is radon. which is really very, very problematic. And most house inspections, not only before you move in, but also periodically, you should have it checked maybe every couple of years, is the radon outgassing in the cellar or in the home. So these are sources of toxicity which are very damaging because we're exposed to them such a long time during the day, and we're in intimate contact with chemicals and our furniture and carpets. So very important to understand how critical it is to keep a clean house and to clean out things regularly, change your linens, get filters, because your house can be a potential source of toxins and chronic illness. One other final thing is that if your car has had some flooding or it's a very old car, this too needs to be filtered out, to clean out, so that when you're driving, maybe you have 2 hours commute total a day, and then you're exposed to the toxins that could be in there. So keep in mind that what you're breathing on a long-term basis can indeed be a source of chronic illness. I hope this has been helpful. And if you are wanting to reply or respond or find out more information, Dr. Bob at vital100wellness.com is a good source of a way to contact me. Take care and make sure you are enjoying the journey.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Vital 100 Wellness with Dr. Bob. Be sure to visit our website at vital100wellness.com for more ways to listen and to explore additional health resources. If you have any questions for Dr. Bob or feedback and suggestions for the podcast, you can email us at info@vital100wellness.com.